Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about Lookism, and this is partly because I need to train for a school presentation I'm gonna do, which is this presentation. So it's gonna be in Swedish, but I'm gonna try to translate for you. So, Lookism. What is Lookism? Lookism means discrimination and hate. Lookism means discrimination and hate towards that unattractive. In society, looks are a very big part of, your place in society. It determines a lot of things such as employment, dating, and general life, like I've said before in previous videos. And one statistic that is quite scary is this one. It's a study from OkCupid ratings based on what people score someone personality-wise in correlation to what they also scale them look-wise. And I said before it was a study, but it's like more of a survey, because OkCupid is like almost like a dating app. It's not supposed to be like a scientific source, but this heavily reflects a lot of things. If you rate someone 1 out of 10 in the look scale, you're gonna presume they're going to have a bad personality. And same with if you find them very attractive, you're probably gonna assume they have a good personality. We have a lot of hidden biases, and it's in our nature. So I first discovered Lookism in 2020 or something around that time, when I was reading the comic named Lookism. I didn't know what Lookism was. I didn't even think about how important looks were, because I was a child that was so blue-pilled. So when I started reading this comic, I started to realize the correlation between looks and how people treat you. Of course, people are gonna respect the tall, handsome guy more than the fat, ugly guy, even though they have the same personality. It's, as I said before, it is engraved in the human nature to treat someone we find attractive better because we want that person to like us. And in general, just treating people that are attractive better is a part of our nature, because we find them more pleasant. Just not only for the eyes, but we feel that they aren't as threatening always. And sure, there are some there are some exceptions, such as if a man looks too masculine, he can be scary. But if he looks just attractive, then you're probably going to lower your guard and think of him more like a friend than anything else. Compared to if it was an ugly man, you would probably be a little more on guard. It's something in the subconscious mind of us humans. This is also a very famous source of Lookism, or proof of Lookism. The right man is a man that, I believe, robbed someone. He was arrested for armed robbery, but after his mugshot was released to the public and posted on social media, it exploded, and he was dubbed the most handsome criminal on earth. And before you know it, he had a modeling contract even before he got out of prison. The man on the left was a famous, almost TikToker. He was a TikTok phenomenon where somebody posted his videos and from his court, talking about how you must free him. He's such an innocent guy. Just because he's attractive, that girls were going crazy over him. They would try to free him. But the thing about him is he hit and run. I don't know how you say. He ran over a mother and her child in a hit and run. And people want him out just because he's attractive. And I forgot to mention, but why Lookism is so prevalent in just Korea, where this manhwa takes place, is because Korea is a very extreme version of a capitalist state, or how, I don't know how you say it. Everything in Korea is about being the best. You have to be smart, you have to be handsome, you have to be high up in social status, like more than any other country. Looks are, as I mentioned, very important in just South Korea. It is, in fact, the country with the highest plastic surgery rate per capita in the world. And we have to understand what is beauty. You know, a lot of you see beauty maybe as subjective, or I mean, a lot of my viewers aren't normies, so they probably see looks as objective. But a lot of normies see looks as subjective. But let me ask you this then: who is more handsome between a short and deformed man compared to a man with symmetrical and a tall, well-built stature? You're going to say the tall and well-built man, of course, because he looks healthier. It is in our human biology to understand that some things in our faces and from our bodies are health indicators. That is often what beauty is supposed to symbolize, health. But other things that are also objectively attractive are, you know, a symmetrical face, healthy skin, and what more? Like, for men, it is like a masculine face, including strong bones, prominent features such as the cheekbones, the jawbone, the rasmus, and the nose. You can see it. Sexual dimorphism. A man who is beautiful does not look like a woman. Or in modern day, it could be much more subjective. But as you can see, that is like that is not a real source. I just found this picture. I cannot confirm if this is a real source, but that is supposed to be the mathematically perfect man. And you can see he is super beautiful. He has perfectly aligned eyes. He's symmetrical. Has perfect golden ratio, perfect third parts. Like, there is almost nothing wrong with him. And on the right we have the woman. She is beautiful. She is feminine. She doesn't have as strong bones, but she has softer features. And she has, as I said, more feminine features. And what I was talking about before, sexual dimorphism. Why that plays such a big role is because, as I said before, a man is supposed to be masculine and a woman is supposed to be feminine. So beauty, the objective beauty I'm talking about, is when someone fits in to, you know, being symmetrical, having healthy skin, having strong bones that fit their gender. Because, as said again, I have to keep saying this because a lot of people will just nitpick on it otherwise. A man who lacks bones is often seen as unattractive. If you look at this man, he is not as attractive as this man, a lot of people would say. And if a man looked like this, he would preferably, or not preferably, he would probably not be seen as a man. A woman who looks like that, it would never, or would probably not, be considered a woman because it doesn't look like a woman. So, to answer the question, yes, beauty is in very many ways objective, but also subjective. And I forgot to mention, some other beauty standards are, of course, a woman's body having to be curvy or skinny. A man's body having to be having a good frame, wide shoulders, and him being tall. That is one of the most common, well-known standards for male beauty. And I wanted to talk about employment possibility, like employment. I don't know how it's called in English. Employment chances, something like that. According to a study, according from the NIH. That is some American, like I believe it was the American Institution for Health. A 10 centimeter increase in height results in a 5% increase in earnings for men and a 12% increase in earnings for women, meaning taller women and men make more money on average than their shorter counterparts. And what actually surprised me was the women's part, because aren't women supposed to be short according to society? Maybe not. Height is just a very strong indicator of beauty according to society. And as you can see here, the chart says the same thing. If you are 72 inches tall, I believe that is 6 foot tall, then you are going to have a much better chance at earning more money than those who are shorter. You can even see it here. It drastically drops when you get under a certain height. And even though it drops off a little here, it's barely noticeable. And for every 10 centimeters, the chance to be employed increases by 2%. And if you're physically attractive, it increases by 12%. Tall people also tend to have higher positions, and I think this is also according to the same source. And as if you're beautiful, you can be easily a model. Like, a lot of things are already paved. Like the way to become it, by just being born, you don't have to work for it. Being a model, if you're born beautiful, you don't have to work for it. And of course, dating. You can't talk about Lookism without mentioning dating. And as you can see, height, again, a very, very prevalent issue. Of extremely occurring problem. Like, everywhere you look, it's always about height, especially, like I said, in dating. In a study conducted in Manhattan and Brooklyn, over 98% of women answered that they would not contact a man under 175 centimeters, or about 5 foot 9, I believe. And this, there's several reasons for this. Like, hypergamy is one of them. Girls nowadays see, with social media, dating apps, and everything, with the feminism making them more free, making them like be able to choose, say no to some men. It has given them the freedom, as I said before, to say no, and that makes their standards higher because they want higher. That lies in the female nature, being hypergamous. So without, something to control them, they want to have something better than themselves. Hypergamy, as I said. And social media, there you only see the best kinds of men. Dating apps, there you only get to choose, you get to choose the hottest of men or the ugliest of men. Of course you choose the most handsome of men. And that is how girls think. They skip all the unattractive men and just take the good ones, the ones they love, because they can do that. Nothing stopping them. And there are several other factors, including dating apps being primarily consisting of men, and women being like only 1/3 of the user base. So meaning girls have a lot easier time finding matches because there's just so many men, but also because men aren't as likely to have high standards, and because she has better options in her opinion. She doesn't want to waste time on a normal guy. And as you can see here, a study from the UK, couples are like almost never where the woman's taller. You can see it here. Not even, I don't think that's even 1%. Not even 1% of couples have a more than 10 centimeter height difference between the man and woman, where the woman is taller. And that is, due to short men. There aren't a lot of short men in the world because men are on average taller than women. But this is also not the norm, Women aren't, or men aren't on average 20 centimeters taller than women. They're around 10 to 15 centimeters taller. So that makes sense. But why women, like the height difference between 35 and 10 centimeters is so big, that is proof of being tall is seen as inherently attractive and being short is not. Because there are about as many people who are like 190 as there are people being 160 as a man. Yet the men who are short get nothing, while the men who are tall get double. Like, you see the difference. And that's not even taking into account that's 35 centimeters taller, assuming the girl is not like a midget. So that means like a man who's over 2 meters tall can easily get a girl, while a man who is like 160, it's super hard. And these are some statistics on hypergamy. Women on average don't rate men that good. And men usually rate women quite fairly. As you can see here, men rate women on average in the middle and slightly even above, While women, yes, you can just see it. And you can also see it here. But I'm just saying this for if you know me. I'm not going to use this in my school presentation because this can be seen as sexist and get me, shut off or something like that. I'm going to not try to blame women as much. And like I said, I'm only going to bring up the issue like very shortly because dating is just one part of Lookism. And why is it important to know what Lookism is? Because Lookism has consequences. Lookism is, as I said, the hate and prejudice towards the ugly. Take James Sapphire, for example. He was not always good looking. He was ugly back in the day. And he was bullied for it tremendously. He suffered a lot. Being shut out of society is a very common issue for those who are unattractive. People unintentionally maybe, but by their own nature dislike ugly people. It's in our nature to do that. And we shut people out who are ugly because we don't perceive them as human almost. Or at least a lot of us don't. Like I said, James Sapphire. He got a glow up. He became good looking. But then there were people who still said that isn't enough. And then he started to do surgeries and he started to abuse drugs and he had a lot of mental problems. And due to all this bullying, he did achieve a lot of success in life. He was very popular in school with both boys and girls. He had a lot of girls in his DMs, but he thought he wasn't enough because he never was before. And therefore, he hard-maxed. Meaning, he did surgery. And a lot of people think, yeah, he looks better there. But the point here is, he became obsessed with looks. He hated himself because everyone did not love him. My point is, a lot of people can be pushed quite deep into dark places because of this prejudice and hate. Think of a fat kid. You think he loves life when he gets excluded just because of him being fat? And also, virtue signaling. Why I personally think this is important to know is because a lot of people deny the fact that looks matter. They deny that they subconsciously judge others, and that's dangerous because hiding the truth is always dangerous. If a lot of people try to say looks don't matter, I don't treat people less worthy because they're ugly. That's not a real thing. Lookism is not real. They are actively denying the bullying that fat people get, that James Sapphire got, that short people get, that extremely tall people get, that everyone that suffers from Lookism gets. We need to spread this as a fact. It is a fact. Lookism is real, and we cannot fucking continue to deny it because of some bullshit motherfucker trying to do that virtue signaling to appear like a good person. You are not a good person. You are driven by nature. And that takes me to my next point. Or not exactly my next point, but look maxing. Like, look maxing is in the name. You are supposed to maximize your looks, and look maxing is a direct response to society's hate towards the unattractive. It is a way for people who are unattractive to become good looking, to become accepted by society, to become a part of society. And why look maxing is a lot of the time dangerous is because it invites self-hatred and insecurities. A lot of look maxers say that look maxing is just bettering yourself, and that is true. It is about bettering yourself, but it always almost leads to insecurities and self-hate. You think Clavicular, the very popular streamer that brought look maxing into mainstream, you think he loves himself? You think he's super stable in himself? You think he loves his body? No, he does not. He always wants to improve. Same with androgenic. He abuses steroids and other substances. Nocturnal Kent, the quote #1 ranked Chad, did a lot of bone mashing to get his new look. And a lot of people, say it's filler, which I also agree with. And that's another thing. Look maxing creates unrealistic beauty standards. A lot of these people are enhanced, not just by, soft maxing, which is like, for example, just taking care of yourself, doing basic skincare and training to lose face fat. A lot of these people hard max and try to say, oh, I did just soft maxing. But a lot of people are also honest, like androgenic, who just plainly says you have to take steroids to become beautiful or to become masculine. And this are some things that they do. You have the double jaw surgery for those who have a recessed jaw. You have the rhinoplasty that androgenic just underwent. You have the limb lengthening surgery, quite popular among people who are short. And you have Clavicular, who tries to, I believe he is shooting in fat dissolving things into his cheeks to get hollow cheeks. And he also tries to get hunter eyes by sticking needles in his eye area. This is not normal. This should not be, partaken in. You should not do this. Why should we as a modern society need to do this to be accepted? We are not driven by nature solely. And that is what I wanted originally to say before I got into talking about look maxers. It is okay. We are by nature driven by our instincts, and it's a natural thing to judge people based on their looks. That is an okay thing to do. But what is not okay is to get hyper fixated on it and make it a determining factor. Even if it is a part of our nature, we are human beings. We live in a society, and I can't repeat myself enough. In our society, we have rules and we have standards. We have rules to control ourselves, and we as humans, what makes us humans is our ability for self-control, to not be blinded and simply follow our natural instinct like animals do. We have an ability for higher thought, higher intelligent thought, and the people trying to say that looks matter, like looks are everything or looks doesn't matter, they're both wrong. Looks matters, but only to a certain degree. Beyond that degree, what more difference does it make? Because we have to have some physical attraction to love someone, but just because you don't have like a super duper physical attraction towards someone doesn't mean you can't love them or can't even treat them right. That is what I'm trying to get at. Just because you don't want to love a ugly person doesn't mean you get to treat them badly. Treat them with kindness, treat them with respect, or at least try to help them. I wanted to make this presentation to make the world aware of Lookism. A lot of people know about pretty privilege and know about the benefits of being attractive, but they do not know about the hate that unattractive people get. Just some finishing words before I end the video. The presentation is done. I'm going to leave a document if you want to answer some questions, like a link, I mean. So please answer that if you want to. I'm sorry if I've like paused a lot or stuttered a lot. This is my first time ever, talking like presenting this topic, and I deviated a lot from my script because I don't even have like a script. And I also noticed afterhand that I don't like a lot of my sources. I haven't written down their exact name, because when I talked about the work market, I said all these numbers, and yes, one was from NIH, but the second I do believe is from, oh wait, it stands here. It's from NIH, and some other facts are from Psychology Today, and some are from Atlantic. But the dating thing, I don't know where I got that info from. But the thing about nature, I should really add that. Because the things about nature, they are also true. Like, that is a thing we do. It comes from nature, from our natural instincts to judge people based on their appearance. But you have to have a source nowadays. You have to have a proof of everything you say. You can't say anything nowadays without having a source, and I fucking hate that. Like, for example, like I can't say humans like consist of 90 or not 90. I think it was 60% water because you have to have a source. Like, shut the hell up, bro. I hope you enjoy the video. I'm going to try to edit it so I don't stutter as much and I don't talk as fucking weirdly. So I hope you enjoy, and if you're from my class, you're gonna enjoy this presentation live. Goodbye.